Now let us understand what's happening in the case of the HCl. During the formation of HCl, bonds are being formed between the hydrogen atoms and the chlorine atoms. These are called chemical bonds, right? And during the formation of the chemical bond, energy is released. Whenever chemical bonds are formed, energy is released, and in combination reaction, every time chemical bonds are formed, right? So we can say that in combination reaction, every time energy is released due to the formation of chemical bonds, right? So chemical bonds can also be known as exothermic reaction, because exothermic reactions are those reactions in which heat is released, and in combination reaction also, due to the formation of the bonds, energy is being released. That is why we can say that not all but most of the combination reactions are exothermic in nature, right. So we will take an example. It is burning of the coal. For coal, we will write carbon plus oxygen. It is combining with the oxygen of the air, and both are giving out carbon dioxide plus heat. Heat is being generated due to the formation of bond between the carbon atoms and oxygen atoms, right. This is the word equation. We can also write it as a chemical equation. For carbon, it will be C. For oxygen, symbol will be O2, and it will give CO2 after combining, right, and energy will be released. That is why it is exothermic reaction, as well as it is also an example of the combination reaction. Now this one is the very important question: is respiration an exothermic reaction or not? So we know that every living being need energy to perform various types of functions, right, and from where they get energy? They get energy from the food, and food is digested in our body, right. And what's happened during the digestion? During the digestion, complex food molecules breaks down into the simpler food molecules. And what is the name we give to the simpler food molecules? It's glucose. So glucose combines with the oxygen present in the bloods, which is carried by the hemoglobin, right. So glucose burns with the help of the oxygen and gives out energy. Whenever a thing burns, or whenever a combustion of anything takes place, it gives out energy. So in the process of respiration, we can see energy is being released. That's why we can say that respiration is an exothermic reaction, because in exothermic reaction we know that energy is released, and here also in respiration energy is being released, right. So respiration is an exothermic reaction. We can write it down in the form of the word equation: glucose glucose plus oxygen, both are combining together and they are giving out carbon dioxide, water plus energy, right. So energy is being released over here in the process of respiration. We can also write it down in the form of the chemical equation. For glucose, it will be C6H12O6. For oxygen, this will be O2, and carbon dioxide CO2 plus H2O plus energy, right. After balancing, it will become C6H12O6 plus 6 CO2, arrow 6 CO2 plus 6 H2O plus energy, right. You have to keep this in mind that this reaction is just opposite of the photosynthesis reaction, because what happened in the case of photosynthesis? Carbon dioxide, water along with the energy, sunlight energy, all combines, and with the help of the chlorophyll they give out glucose and oxygen, right. So respiration reaction is just opposite of the photosynthesis reaction, right. Now let's move to the next topic: decomposition reaction. This is the second type of the reaction that takes place in the chemistry. Here what's happened, that a single compound breaks down into two or more substances, right. and this is the just opposite of the combination reaction. What was happening in the combination reaction? Two or more substances were combining together and they were just giving out a single compound, and in case of the decomposition reaction, just opposite is happening. A single compound is breaking down into the two or more substances, right? So what will be the common structure? It will be AB giving out A plus B, right? B will be here, B will be written here, right? There is a mistake. So we will take an example. Calcium carbonate when heated gives out calcium oxide and carbon dioxide. So you have to keep this in mind. Whenever decomposition reaction takes place, bonds are broken. So bonds between the calcium atoms and carbonate atoms are broken, right? And calcium oxide and carbon dioxides are formed. Whenever a bond is broken, energy is consumed. In order to break a bond, energy is required. So in decomposition reaction, energy is consumed. That's why decomposition reaction may also be known as endothermic reactions, right? We will study about the endothermic reaction in the next slide. Here take the example, calcium carbonate, it will be CaCO3. When being heated, it's giving out calcium oxide and CO2. What is the common name given to the calcium carbonate? It's limestone. Okay, and what's the common name given to the calcium oxide? It's quicklime. You may be asked in the examination, what name the substance which is used for the whitewashing in our houses. So it's calcium oxide, CaO, right, which is quicklime also. Now moving to the next slide, endothermic reaction. As I have already told you that every decomposition reaction is a type of endothermic reaction because it requires energy in order to break the chemical bonds, right? So endothermic reactions are those reactions where energy is absorbed. Energy may be absorbed or required in the form of the heat, sunlight or electricity. I have already given the example in the previous slide about the heat, right? Now we will take the example of the endothermic reaction where sunlight is required as energy. So this example has been taken from the NCERT book. Here we are taking silver chloride whose natural color is white. After putting it in sunlight for some time, its natural color changes from white to gray, right, due to the formation of silver and chlorine. There is a problem, written problem over here, printing problem actually, right. So AgCl whose natural color is white, after putting it in sunlight for some time, it's giving out Ag and Cl2 and its color changes from white to gray, right. It's an example of the endothermic reaction because sunlight energy is being consumed over here, right. This chemical reaction may also be known as photochemical reactions or endothermic reaction, right. Now we will take the example of the endothermic reaction where electricity is consumed as energy. So we will take a beaker, you can also take a mug which is easily available in the houses, right, and in beaker we will take two electrodes. One will be anode which is positively charged and another electrode will be known as cathode which is negatively charged. We will take some water into the beaker and then we will connect a 6-volt battery with both the terminals, negative terminal as well as positive terminal, right. Now we will take two test tubes and in test tubes we will take some water and we will invert it in both the on both the electrodes on anode as well as on cathode, and we will start the flow of the electricity, and after some time we will observe that here some bubbles are forming, right, at the anode also and in the cathode, at the cathode also, right. So actually what is happening, that gas is being formed. So there are two types of gases which are being formed over here. At cathode it will be hydrogen. Why hydrogen will form at cathode? Because hydrogen ions are positively charged, right. So negative terminal will attract the positively charged hydrogen atoms. That's why hydrogen gas will form at cathode, right. And in the same way at anode oxygen will form, oxygen gas will evolve, because oxygen atoms are, ions are negatively charged, right. So positively charged terminal, that is anode, will attract the negatively charged oxygen atoms, right. And one more question you may be asked in the examination. First understand this reaction. What is the reaction which will take place during the electrolysis of water? This process is known as electrolysis of water. It is an example of the endothermic reaction where electricity is being consumed as energy, right. So what will be the overall reaction? It will be, after balancing 2H2O, 2H2 plus oxygen. You can see here when two molecules of water is being formed, it requires it not requires, actually it's giving out two atoms of the hydrogen, whereas only one atom of the oxygen is being formed, right. So that's why you can see that amount of oxygen atoms being formed in this reaction is just half of the amount of hydrogen atoms being formed, right. That's why the amount of oxygen atoms which is formed in this reaction is just half of the hydrogen gas, right. Now we can also represent it like this. Now we will study about the displacement reaction, right. Third one is the displacement reaction. Here what's happened, that the more reactive element displaces less reactive elements of its compound. For this you have to remember the reactivity series of the metals, which has been shown on the next slide actually. So what will be the common structure of this displacement reaction? It will be AB, a compound, right. In AB, remember that A, first one is the metal and second one is non-metal. Metals are positively charged ions, whereas B and non-metal contain the negatively charged ion, right. So here C, which is also a metal, will replace the metal of this compound, that is A. So C will come in place of the A, right. C will come in place of the A. So it will become CB, not AB, right. So it's giving out CB and A will come in place of the C, right. So metal will replace the metal, but which this should be more reactive than the metal present in this compound, right. So C is more reactive here than A, that's why it's kicking out the A and becoming CB, and A is left alone. So we will take example copper sulfate combining with the zinc, right. So what's happening here zinc is more reactive, that's why it will kick out this copper from this compound copper sulfate, right. So it will become zinc sulfate, and copper will be left alone. This copper should have been written here, right. So this is the chemical equation we can write here. This Zn this zinc atom will come here, okay, in the place of the copper, and it will become ZnSO4, and Cu yani copper will be left alone. This is the reactivity series of the metal. You can remember it. I have given a trick. So many tricks are available on the internet. It's your choice. I have also given a trick over here. You can remember it. Here you can see that zinc is as we first you know that as we go downward in the reactivity series, reactivity of the metals decreases, right. Zinc is more reactive than copper. That is why zinc is kicking out the copper from the copper sulphate and becoming ZnSO4 zinc sulphate, right. So, moving to the next slide, double displacement reaction. Now, let us see what is happening in the case of the double displacement reaction. Okay. Here two compounds reacts by exchanging the ions to form two new compounds, right. So, what will be the basic structure of this double displacement reaction? Two compounds A, B and XY both are combining to reacting with each other by the exchange of ions, and they are giving out XB and AY, right. What is happening here actually in AB, A is the metal and B is the non-metal. A is positively charged whereas B is negatively charged. In XY compound also, X is a metal which is positively charged whereas Y is the non-metal which is negatively charged, right. So, what will happen, the metal of this compound XY, what is the name of the metal of this compound XY? It's X, metal is X. So, and what is the name of metal in this compound? It's A, right. So, X metal will replace the A metal because it is more reactive, right. So, it will it is not more reactive actually, they both will come in place of each other, right. So, X will replace A and A will replace X. So, it AB will become XB, right. AB will become XB and A will come in place of the X. So, XY will become AY, right. Let us take an example. AgNO3 silver nitrate reacting with the sodium chloride giving out sodium nitrate and silver chloride, right. So, here in AgNO3 silver nitrate, silver is the metal which is positively charged, and in sodium chloride, sodium is the metal. So, sodium will replace this, sodium will come in place of the Ag, that is silver, and silver will come in place of the sodium, right. So, it will become sodium nitrate. Previously it was silver nitrate, now it will become sodium nitrate, and previously it was sodium chloride, now it will become silver chloride. Okay. Now coming to the last type of reaction, it's redox reaction. It is called redox reaction. Here RED, red, it means reduction, right, and OX represent oxidation. So, redox reactions may also be known as oxidation or reduction reaction, and this redox reaction always happens together. It means oxidation and reduction always occur together. Okay. So, what is oxidation? So, oxidation may be defined as the addition of oxygen, either the addition of oxygen or removal of the hydrogen. In oxidation, either addition of oxygen takes place or removal of hydrogen happens, right. So, we will take an example, copper oxide combining, reacting with the hydrogen and giving out copper and water, right. So, what is happening here? In H2 you can see that there is no oxygen here combined with the hydrogen, but after the reaction there is an addition of the oxygen, right. So, here addition of oxygen is taking place, that is why it will be known as oxidation. We can also say that H2 is being oxidized over here due to the addition of oxygen, right. Now, what is reduction? Reduction means either addition of the hydrogen or removal of the, here it will be, this is not removal of removal actually, This is removal of oxygen, right? O2. Got it? So reduction means addition of the hydrogen or removal of the oxygen. Addition of hydrogen or removal of oxygen. So what's happening in this case, in this reaction? Here CuO. Here oxygen is present in copper oxide. Now after the reaction you can see that there is no oxygen with the copper, right? So copper is removed. Copper is removed from the copper oxide. That's why we can say that this is the reduction. Or we can also say that copper oxide is being reduced over here. Therefore, substance oxidized will be H2 since addition of hydrogen taking place in case of the H2. That's why we can say that substance oxidized will be H2. And which will be the substance reduced? It's CuO, because here oxygen is being removed. From CuO it's becoming Cu. And which is the oxidizing agent? See, oxidizing agent is that element or compound which help the other compound to being oxidized. For oxidation, H2 requires oxygen, right? And from where, who is helping hydrogen to give to take the oxygen? It's CuO, right? CuO is helping the hydrogen in being oxidized by giving out what? Oxygen, right? That's why CuO will be oxidizing agent, whereas H2 will be reducing agent. I hope you understand everything. If you haven't, you can comment in the comment section. We will try to solve your problem. Okay, thanks for watching. Keep learning. Subscribe to our channel Big Pathshala. Learn easily. Happy learning.